The following audio, brought to you by TSF Entertainment Podcast, may contain graphic descriptions of violence and or audio clips of violence or sexual explicit events. Listener's discretion is advised.
What's good, TSF Entertainment Podcast fans? This is your boy, RETROCG, and I'm joined tonight by my great hosts. I got Mr. REALLYBTV in the house.
Hey.
And I'm joined by my brother in arms, Mr. JACKOFJORDANS, a.k.a. D. Jackson. What's up?
What's good? No red cup. I'm drinking straight out of a glass.
Straight glass drinking tonight. Straight glass drinking tonight.
I'm classy today.
Classy based. Okay.
And tonight we're going to talk about Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Episode 4, and it's Do Not Sleep. So, first thoughts, what y'all thought about the episode?
It wasn't my favorite out of the 4 so far, but
Really?
part of the storyline.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, D?
That's crazy because that's one of my favorites out of the 4. You know, I'm on the complete opposite end of it because of the way a lot of things unfolded. It brought a little bit more drama to it, and you kind of it kind of unites. It not unites, but it kind of connects the beef a little bit more. Like it's no longer
pushing the story forward.
We no longer diplomatic
needed.
about it.
Yeah,
no
it
longer
was definitely a needed story.
Being diplomatic about it is out the window.
Well, I guess I'm finna blow y'all mind because I thought it was a great episode. I'm loving all of them. Like,
yeah, me too.
So far, this is my favorite out of the series. I think.
Mine too.
I think they're doing a great job with this.
Okay.
It's definitely better than book 2.
Oh my gosh, by leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds.
I mean,
everything about it is better than book 2. It's not even just so much the acting and stuff. It's just the story development, stuff making sense, stuff being sequential. You know what I mean? Like,
the writing is much better.
And I know we say this in every episode, but shout out to the people who's doing the fashion for them.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus,
it's not even just about the fashion. It's the set, it's the design, it's everything.
It's just the feel of all of it.
All of it is just so authentic. It's
the maroon 6s with the Gucci. Look, come on, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I picked the maroon 6s too.
I'm assuming that's a sneaker.
Come on.
Oh God, Crystal.
Come on. This was a George 6 episode because somebody else has some 6s on too, but that's neither here nor there.
The Sport Blues.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
One of the Nick's crew, he had on the Sport Blues.
God.
Yeah. I think he had on like an Alwa side leather, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think it was a Pelly, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh gosh.
So the episode kicks off with Eunique and his crew. They're chasing Trez down the stairway, and we met Trez last episode. He was the dude that was in the car when they were trying to get the re-up when they got hemmed up by the 5-0 on the re-up. So they're chasing him. They finally catch up to him, and they bring him back to like this back room, and they were torturing him, yes, but in a way it kind of seemed as if they were interrogating him to try to find out, what happened with this re-up, how did the feds find out about our re-up. And so Eunique he's pissed. He's very pissed.
Absolutely.
And when he said open this nigga ear up so I can hear what he's saying, I already knew it was gonna be good.
Oh my gosh.
I knew that it wasn't gonna be good. Like
that was needed.
one thing about Power, we know that we're going to get some gruesome kill scenes in Power. I mean, no matter what version of it. So, I mean, long story short, you know, we find out that they got history. We found out through Kanan's narration that, you know, they grew up together. Like him and Eunique and Trez, they grew up together. You know, they were close. They were fam. And, you know, he was pretty much acting as Unique's right-hand man in the streets. So, you know, Eunique was really upset about, you know, what had don't happen. I mean, dude was pissed. And, you know, he ended up killing him. He ended up putting a bullet in his head, you know. And it kind of takes me back to that comment that Kanan told Tariq back in Power that, you know, you're not a real killer unless you kill someone you love. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that unfolding as this story goes out. So what did y'all think about that scene?
You go ahead, really B.
I mean, I feel the same way. Like it was, you know, they were trying to figure out. Unique's trying to figure out what happened. Like, did somebody in his crew snitching? Like, because they know that just wasn't coincidental. They knew specifically what time, what place. Like, so yeah, he's definitely figure it out. He was the dude that was in the alley getting high that yelled out 5-0, right? Wasn't that?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I agree. I feel like that was just and just that whole scene at the end where he was like, "I love you, man." He shot him and it was like, "I love you too." Like you said, it's that whole like the streets don't have no code. You know what I mean? Like,
It put me in the mindset right before Nino Brown pulled the bullet on OG Money.
Yeah.
It put me in that mindset, and it needed to be done because it wasn't the fact that I don't think that he was thinking that he was snitching. It was the fact that he wasn't as sharp as he could have been.
He was
because he was getting high. Because he was getting high.
Yeah, you was getting high. You supposed to be watching the re-up. So.
You supposed to have been like if you wasn't getting high, you probably could have seen, this
right.
the 5-0 pulling up on us.
Yeah.
You would have right. You would have noticed this foggy ass van ahead of time because you wasn't on point. I don't think it was necessarily that he thought that he, was snitching. It was just more so. But it put me in the mindset of New Jack City. Not saying that it's a duplicate of that because that's just the way the game goes, But to lose $250,000, on your man's watch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's you got to show action behind that because you don't want people thinking you sweet. So you got to show action behind that.
And so not only that, but that's their whole re-up.
Right.
Their corners are low. They ain't got enough product out on the streets or whatever. They needed this re-up. So this is going to slow business down for them. This is pretty much getting ready to, kill shit for them for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So we then switch to Kanan at the house, and he's making dinner. And shout out to the casserole dish, yo. I remember my mom.
Yo, that cornyware. Everybody had that cornyware.
Yeah.
Shoot, my mama still got it. Stop playing.
And so, we learn in this moment that, Kanan always makes dinner for him and his mom on Tuesday nights. Mm-hmm. And so what happens, Symphony and his mom show up, they already been out to dinner and everything. So you can instantly see the disappointment in his face that, this our night. And so, Sympathy, he does a good job trying to play it off. Like, no, we hungry, let's sit down and eat, let me set the table and sit down and eat. Kanan is pissed. Like he's mad pissed. Like, first of all, Mom, you forgot about our night. And then 2, you bring this dude home and, you still haven't sat down and had a conversation with me about where this is, what this is, And I can kind of understand why he's frustrated and upset. Because if it would be me, I would be upset too. Like, Mom, you hadn't even sat down and talked to me about this dude. And I keep seeing him pop up and come around. And, he's starting to move things around that are special to me and you. Like, what's up with this? But, of course, he ain't trying to, explain anything to her 15-year-old son. Like, this is my house, my rules. I spend time with whoever I want to spend time with. But it was just a real awkward moment at dinner for them because, Symphony is trying to make conversation with him and, trying to open up to him and get him to open up and get to know him. And Kanan ain't paying him no attention at all. So.
None. But I can appreciate the fact that Kanan's anger was directed at who it should have been directed at when his mother said, something about, Symphony was like, my bad, I didn't know, you know, that Tuesday nights he makes dinner for you, and he looked at his mother and was like, she does,
Yeah.
Yep.
you
She
know.
knew.
And that's the first time that, I'll be honest with you, that's probably the first time that I was actually disappointed in Rock, and I actually saw Rock as, you just a regular woman sometimes. You superwoman, but you a regular woman. Because that's some stuff like we see Mr. Men too, but more times than not, we see it happen with women. They get a man and they get that they let others.
Well, I agree with what you're saying on that. It's like you so caught up in this new romance that you forgetting about, you know, your child or what type of
Yeah, because I
effect
mean,
that
every
it's
Tuesday
having on
night,
your
like
child.
how do you, like, how is that not at the front of your mind when he call and say, let's go to dinner tonight? It should have ordered. Oh, this is Tuesday, I can't do it. Like you got 6 other nights that you could be with him, but that
Right.
night it should have already been, that should already be penciled in, blocked off. Nah, that's me and Kanan. That's what we do. So that's the first time that I really saw her sort of be a regular woman. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense, what I'm trying to say.
I think with that part, she let her. I think she let her, not parental judgment. I don't want to say parental judgment. That's the wrong word I'm looking for. But more of her, I pay the bills. This is my house. I do what I want to attitude. Pretty much hold more weight than her relationship and her bond between her and her son.
Right.
But I think she definitely was wrong. It definitely should have been a conversation they should sit down and discuss. Consider that he's a teenager, and he's a
Exactly.
little bit older. So it should have been a conversation that they should have had. This is what it is. I'm not saying that she's doing it for his approval, but just letting him know that
Informing him what's up.
this is what it is. Yeah, this
Yes.
is what it is, and this is how it's going to be. So there's going to be some adjustments. We still keep our Tuesdays. Unless they was living in the same house, we still keep our Tuesdays. But other than that,
But now it's
this
a
is how it's going to
Tuesday
be.
+1 going forward. Yeah. And at least allow him the opportunity to process what's going on, because again, last episode he comes downstairs and this dude is sitting around in his drawers on the computer. So at this point, yo mom, when are you gonna sit down and have a conversation with me about this dude? Where is this going?
Exactly.
Is this going to be my new stepdad? I'm assuming that she hasn't had a serious relationship since High Post. So, he's used to it just being the two of them, and the rest of the family.
Exactly.
So, now we got an outsider that's in the mix, prepare me for what I'm getting ready to be dealing with. I'm sharing my mother now with someone else that I'm not used to sharing with. So, at the very least, it deserves a conversation. Again, I agree with you, CP, that it doesn't necessarily have to be for his approval, but you're informing him on what's going on. So you're at least making him feel like he's a part of your life still, and now that you're moving on and, he's 15, he can fend for himself now. So,
right.
And she's processing that, and she kind of, to me, it kind of looks like she know herself that she fouled, and she kind of feel bad about it, but she doesn't want to address it. Raquel just kind of wants it to just go away on its own or fix itself on its own, but she knows ultimately she's going to have to do something to push this forward in order for Kanan to be okay with this, in order for him and Symphony to have a positive relationship going forward, or at least a mutual understanding of what's going forward. And we see that later on in the episode where she tries to open that door, but it wasn't the right time or the place. But I feel like she only did that because of what was getting ready to happen. So I agree. I agree with all the thoughts. So we then switch to Jukebox and Nicole. They're at Nicole's house, and they're watching a video from they made at the mall. And they're kind of being teenagers. If this was a male-female type relationship, I don't think that we would have an issue with anything of what we're seeing. We're seeing first love, young love, and they're spending all their time together. But I really like Nicole's character. I really like. She seems to kind of balance Jukebox. She seems to kind of want to bring the softer side out of Jukebox. Definitely a side of Jukebox that we're not used to seeing from previous shows or whatever. So this is a young romance, and her parents are home. And her mom comes into the room right before they were getting ready to make out, And they kind of play it off. They're sitting there dancing and watching the video from the mall, and the mom hears Laverne sing, and she's like, "Oh, you're good, you're real good." And then the husband comes by, and he makes a comment about, this is better than the shit that we hear on the radio. And then you just see the parallel difference between her parental situation at home versus Jukebox. Nicole has a traditional family life at home. Jukebox doesn't. So
Right.
In that scene, I thought it was neat. I didn't think that her parents were kind of like disapproving of Nicole hanging out with Jukebox or Laverne. I think they seem to be very receptive of it. It almost even sounds as if they invited her to stay for dinner. So I didn't get the impression that her parents were disapproving of their relationship or their friendship, rather. What y'all think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way. I didn't feel like I said, I do feel like there was some, I guess for lack of a better word, some pandering to her.
I agree
But I
with
don't
that.
think it was out of like any malicious intent. I think it was just that, they like they're upper middle class, maybe lower rich, in that bracket. And they probably don't really, have a whole lot of
They're probably not
interaction.
used to their daughter bringing black friends home.
Yeah, I mean, she probably don't have no black kids at her school or a very small amount, and so I don't think that it was any maliciousness in it, as much as it was just, how do we, try to connect with her without, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I agree with that 100%, especially when it was like that's fly, or whatever he said. It
right.
was like, I think that's fly. He was like, and she was like, "Oh, your dad thinks I'm fly." And I don't think that he meant any harm or anything like that. I felt as though that he was just trying to make her somewhat comfortable in a
Yep.
way.
Yeah, yeah,
To bring some comfort. Like, all right, it's okay for you to come over here, and I can talk the way I think you talk, type
Exactly.
thing.
Going back to the pandering, yes, I agree
Yeah,
with that.
I can talk the way that I think that you talk, and I don't think I think they approve of her coming over. They don't have no problem with that. I mean, it's their daughter's friend, so they probably don't see really no issues with
hmm
the friend portion of it.
yeah. The
Yeah,
friend
I think at
portion.
this point they
Friend
don't
portion of
know.
it, yeah.
Because remember, Jukebox makes a comment about your parents are cool, and Nicole comments to that. She says, "Well, they're cool about certain things." So I think they may have an inkling, or they may be suspicious, that something's amiss with their daughter, but they haven't put two and two together. So
Right.
I
Or they
basically
may have made comments. A lot of times people are talking and they don't know. So like they may have had conversations about homosexuality, not knowing that their daughter is
exactly.
gay
Mm-hmm.
or experimenting in that way. And you don't realize the stuff you say to offend somebody if you don't know that that's their thing.
I
Right.
agree with that. So I
So,
think
because I don't think it was about her being black. Because again, they had her in their home. They invited her to dinner. You could tell that she had been there before because they already knew her name. They didn't have to be
Yeah.
introduced to her. So that that's not it. You
Right.
know what I mean?
I agree. So the next thing we see Tony Deep and Marvin, she fucking on him, and is basically what I said was going to end up happening between the two of them. But uh, I mean, after she got finished doing her rabbit fucking all over Marvin,
Oh Lord, not
she
rabbit.
wants.
Okay. Golly.
Hey, he was letting her.
Right.
Yeah,
He was into whatever she was doing. He was with it.
He was letting
yeah,
her control it.
she was. um,
But he saw him choking her.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she rolls over and get a hit a blow, and she offered him some. He was like, "Nah, I don't do that shit." And she was like, "Oh, you just sell it, so you don't do it." He get ready to light him up a cigarette. He's ready to go, and of course, she wants to lay up and cuddle, and she wants to kind of enjoy the moment. And we instantly see the look on his face. I mean, before he even said anything, we instantly saw the
He
look on
was
his face that
disgusted.
yes, he was
Right.
not
Yeah.
comfortable with
He
that
was
idea at
not.
all.
Yeah.
He was disgusted. Like, what the fuck did she just do to my shoulder?
Yeah,
Right.
like she gonna
Yeah.
lay up on
Right.
me. Listen, Marvin instantly started getting his shit together, and all I'm gonna say is, Marvin, Marvin.
Let me intervene real quick. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I
boy.
love this. I'm gonna tell you why I love this scene so much. This is why I love this scene so much, because growing up the way that I grew up, that scene is authentic. That's the way that I like. It's just the authenticity to me is just like beyond rare, because that's just the way that in the hood, that's just the way we grew up. We wasn't doing no cutting or nothing like that. We first were like, no, we ain't about to do that. We know what we gonna do, and then I'm going out the door. I'm here, you there. That's it.
And that's all it's going to be, because
that's all
in her mind, she thinks that this is the introduction or a prelude to them being a couple or in a relationship or whatever. He's like, no, I gave you some dick, and that's it. We not taking this any further than where it's at. But I feel like that's going to do some damage to what his ultimate goal is with her. Going back to what I was saying last week about him wanting to finesse her, and I think that she's going to be a little bit scorned in this moment, because not only did he pretty much brush her off, he took the dog away from her. They kind of had a whole back and forth moment about the dog ain't eat since yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, I ran out of dog food or whatever." And he was like, "But you ate."
He should have took the dog.
Yeah,
I'm about to say he should have took
that.
the damn dog.
I agree with that, but it just it just gives us a front row seat into what Marvin is personality wise. He's not accustomed to showing affection, because we see that with his own daughter. He doesn't even show his own daughter affection, so he's not gonna. And he's looking at Tony Deep as a jump off. We just having fun. You ain't finna be, my old lady, and you're not somebody I would bring home as my old lady. So,
I don't even. I'm
you're
sorry,
a co-core.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I hear what you're saying, but I don't even feel like it's just because I know that there, the categories, like if I ain't looking at you as a relationship, then we gonna do what we do. Nah, we not cuddling, we ain't doing all of that. But I don't even feel like that's just not who he is. Period. Because he turned it into a black-white thing. He turned it into a gay thing. Like, only gay dudes do that. Only, you in the hood, you messing with a hood nigga. We don't do that. Like, so I feel like in his mind, that's men do, period. I don't feel like it's if you my woman, then I don't mind cuddling with you, but you a jump off. I feel like that in his mind, that's just not what men do with women. We fuck, we done. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I said before, I just think that's just the mentality of like growing up in the hood. You just you do what you do. You do what you do and go on about your business. All the affection and emotional stuff. Yeah, we ain't getting into none of that. We gonna do what we do.
And then in her comparison to the other dudes that she had been with that did do that, so his response to that is, well, shit, why you ain't with him then? If that's the type of nigga that you want to be with, why you ain't laying with him right now instead of me?
Yeah, but she probably just dated black men. Marvin's a nigga, so it's you know what I'm saying?
A big difference.
He's a man.
There is a difference.
And I don't even think at this point that she even dates them. I think she just fucks black dudes.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. She started off her role into book 3.
Fucking on some random dude.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who that guy was.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she probably felt that Marvin was a little different because he stood up for it, all this type of stuff.
Yep.
Like
it's the mixed signals.
I was about to get ready to say that. Like the mixed signals was there. He like ain't nobody gonna be pushing up on my girl.
Like nobody.
Yeah.
And then he brought her the dog.
And all that stuff. And then brought her the dog.
Then he brought her the dog.
Right.
So
that's part of the reason why I feel like. Right. Which is one of the reasons why I feel like he just don't think that that's what men do. Like, I don't think it's about, well, you're not my woman, and I only do that with women I'm trying to get with. I think
he's just like,
he just was
that's
raised
just
that
not
way,
what
probably.
men do.
Yeah, we don't do that. I'm chilling. We gonna do what we do. You doing your lines. I'm gonna hit this square. Yeah, and that's that. I'm gonna get up in my sports center and make me a sandwich.
Yep.
As barbaric as it sounds, I'm sorry. I was wanting to do like the people that I grew up around with. That's the exact shit that they used to do. They used to teach me when I was younger.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm glad you've evolved.
I have.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes between the two of them going forward. Like I said, I think that she's going to be somewhat standoffish from him going forward. Marvin's going to look at it like ain't shit wrong. Everything is straight, but her feelings is going to clearly be hurt behind this whole situation. So let's see how that unfolds.
And I think she
like
like that
she
game.
said,
I
she
think
was
she
like,
like
I
that
don't want
gangster
it.
shit too.
Right, when she said, I don't want it to end like this, he was like, end? How is it going
It
to
ain't
end?
never
And
started.
nothing even started. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yo, he was like, I gave you this dick too. You want me to leave that?
Yep.
I was like, wow, that's kind of
terrible.
wow.
Gosh, he is terrible.
Wow. I was like, that's kind of fucked up, but wow.
He's terrible, man.
Man. Oh man.
So next we see Eunique is meet with the crew again, and I guess he's now found out that Dean is not going to re-up, is not going to give him a re-up until all this shit is cools down. And so now he's really pissed at this point because he's pretty much figured out that Raquel's got her stink all over this. Like, I can smell it from here. So he
Right.
knows
Smell it from
that
here.
she's responsible for what has happened. But then he's trying to figure out, the whole dynamics with the cop and everything. And then, he pretty much hems up another one of his boys. He was like, shit, I don't trust that motherfucker. It's Trez that's got us hemmed up sucking on that glass dick. So it's his fault. I ain't never trusted that cop. I ain't never told that cop none of our business. So he pretty much tell the crew that they need to step on whatever work they got left. And they pretty much trying to tell him, look, it's already been stepped on. We can't stretch
ain't
no
nothing
more.
left to do.
Right. He was like, well, stretch it some motherfucking more. Like, he wants the product to stay out on the streets because if he knows that he loses the corners, then, it's going to be a minute before he gets a re-up again and his spot is gone. So he's pissed, and the workers are trying to appeal to him and reason with him and let him know that, yo, this ain't going to work. And so he's got high hopes that when he gets the next re-up that, he can make up for the loss when the next re-up come, that, we'll put the niggas on their back when we get the next re-up. But, the workers are kind of looking at it more realistically, like, shit, if we don't get this work, we ain't going to have no fiends. They're going to go get their shit from somebody else. So,
and if we try to sell it and we know it ain't shit, people going to stop coming to us and buying the product.
Right, exactly.
What happens when you have an inferior product? You pushing them to your competition at this point. So basically, now at this point he's trying to figure out how he gonna get to Raquel. Is it gonna be the body or is it gonna be a headshot? So, and of course we know what the headshot was. The headshot is gonna be Kanan. So he trying to figure out what ways he gonna get back at her to for what she's done. But I kind of feel like it's tit for tat. And that's one thing I like about them. They don't waste no time extracting their revenge on each other. We've seen that for the last 3 episodes. They're like literally tit for tat. One be up one episode, the next one be down. They extract their revenge in real time. Like, they don't scheme and plot out no shit. They take their shot in real time at each other. So it's gonna be interesting to see who out of the two of them who comes out on top. And we'll save that for predictions at the end of the show. But I'm very curious to see who's going to come out on top with the two of them. So then we see Raquel back at the house. I guess Tiffany's gone for the evening or whatever. Kanan's washing up the dishes. And, she should have took that moment right then and there to kind of talk to him about it because she saw that he was still upset. But she kind of chastised him a little bit. She did say that she was sorry about dinner, but she wasn't going to beg for forgiveness from her 15-year-old son. He was like, you ain't ask for it. She's like, I ain't gonna ask for it. Like, this is my house. I'm your mama. She was trying to make peace with them, but at the same time, it went left. And then that's when she brought up the whole situation about the school calling. The grades ain't getting no better. And she's like, I told you it wasn't gonna be good for you if these grades got behind. So she's enrolled him in I guess it was night classes, night school. Well, I guess
looked like some sort of like night classes or something. Yeah,
as punishment because she pretty much told him, you out the stash house. You need to get back on school. And we saw that a lot has happened with him where school probably has become a less of a priority for him right now. It seems like him getting out here in these streets and getting with Davina is more of his priority right now. So he's not focused on school right now.
That's all he see.
Yep, that's all you see in front of him. So she was like, "Nah, you going down here to the city college? You gonna take these classes, and that's gonna be that." And you know, they kind of have some words back and forth, but at the end of the day, you know, he gonna do what she say. So.
He better.
Because Rock rules with an iron fist, whether it's her household or whether it's her business. That's just the way that she is.
Yep. And she don't come to play.
Yeah, she not playing.
She's not playing with him. And so the next thing we see what's his name? Comancho. They at the studio.
Yeah.
Famous and the sister and Comanche.
Jessica.
They at the shout out to Quincy Combs. Shout out to Quincy Combs, who's the producer, the cokehead producer. And so, you know, we learn in this moment that the sister is really trying to help her brother get put on. And, you know, Quincy is pretty much telling him, not Quincy, but Camacho is pretty much telling him that, yo, you're not as good as you think you are. So first of all, you know, get all that gas about your tank. You know, because you got a gassed up head in here and you think that you spit and flow or whatever the case may be. You're like, you're a little boy. You're 15 years old. Like, ain't nobody going to believe the shit that you spitting. So let's get some authenticity in here. Let's get real about what you rhyming about. And let's work on the flow. And so, you know, the sister, she's just trying to, you know, butter him up. She's pretty much trying to convince him to, you know, develop him. Because, I mean, he does. He needs development. You know, and he pretty much told her that, well, if that's the case, I got a showcase coming up. You know, if we can get the music together, you know, he could probably get a spot at the showcase. And, you know, that's going to involve me and you working closely together. And she's like, oh, whatever it takes. So I'm sure that he's going to try to hit on her at some point. He's going to try to fuck on her.
That's going to end bad.
It's going to end bad for him.
That relationship going to end bad.
We already know what's going on. But we can see the look all over Lulu's face when Lulu came in and delivered.
That writing is on the wall.
Yep. When Lulu came to deliver that Coke, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, okay, is the producer a cokehead? Is he a cokehead at this point? Or is he
you know back
around in the studio for the artists?
You know, back then, you know, the early 90s, mid 90s or whatever, a lot of them were anyway. So that goes.
I was gonna say, I think it's a combination. I think he uses it, but I also think he keeps it on hand for whoever coming through.
For the artists.
Yeah.
So now you leaving a drug dealer to fuck on a cokehead, that's not a good move, Jessica.
Yeah, but I think and when me and you was talking earlier, I really feel like that's where that story is going to end. Like I feel like because he was very clear in telling her, listen, I'm gonna put your brother on, but you're gonna put me on. Like he was like, that means we're gonna have to work real close together. Like he's letting her know,
especially since she ain't got no ends.
Right, he's letting her know. Right, he's letting her know, I'm gonna go ahead and hook your brother up, but you're gonna owe me, and I'm telling you how I want to be paid. And so with Lulu, I think in her mind she's gonna justify doing that for her brother. But I love Lulu. Like Lulu, you my man. Like don't trip. I just did what I had to do, and I feel like Lulu's gonna find out that I feel like she's gonna sleep with him, and Lulu gonna find out about it, and that's gonna be the end of Camacho. Or whatever.
Oh yes, he gonna take him out the game because he was ready to take him out the game when he came to make that delivery.
Yo, he hit her with the "Can I talk to you outside for a minute?" Yo,
yeah,
I knew
like,
that when he's like, "Can I talk to you outside for a minute?"
And he was smooth with it too, man. That's why I like Lulu.
Yeah, I can respect that because he didn't try to embarrass her. He didn't try to make no scene.
Marvin would have set that whole shit off right there.
Man, he would
have started shooting. Right, Marvin would have started shooting up the studio.
Yeah, Marvin, we get this shit out right now. Like, what the fuck is going on right here?
Right. Marvin would have shot up the damn studio, and it would have been a whole other situation.
Lulu was trying to process that moment too, because part of him kind of understands what she's doing, but at the same time, you still my girl, and I don't want you up spending no time with no other nigga. And you know, I know what this nigga's gonna want from you. Like, you ain't got no money, you know, so you're gonna cross the line eventually. You might not have intentions on doing it at this moment in time, but eventually, this is what this is gonna lead to. And then, you know, he's like, yo, I thought you was selling me all this bullshit about how good I could be in the music industry and all this bullshit. She told him real facts. She's like, yo, I'm not going to wait for you, you know.
Right. He was like, I do believe in you, but I can't wait for you to figure it out.
I can't wait for you to figure it out. Like, you know, I'm trying to get my brother on now. Just like your sister trying to put you on, I'm trying to put my brother on. So, I mean, that was big facts. So, you know, I thought that their moment was going to end a little bit more uglier than it did. But, you know, they kind of worked it out. they kind of agreed to disagree.
This is 1995, right?
No, 91.
91.
91. I'm
91.
sorry.
Yeah,
We're
we're
in 91. 1991. For that to be 1991 and listening to famous bars, they are kind of ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they are kind of ass. So it's not like Camacho was lying about, you know, itty shit like that. I do think that he has. I think he's thinking with both heads.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's a producer.
Yeah,
he's got a record label. So at the end of the day, I need talent. I need real talent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm having a little fun with this. But I mean, if you serious about wanting to be an artist for me, you're gonna have to bring the work up. You know, because this ain't hitting.
Yeah, a whole lot of talented people had to go to the casting couch. That didn't mean they weren't talented, but they still were expected to, you know,
perform,
render some payment. Like, and Lulu said dude is talented. He was like, no, he know his shit. Like, he's talented. So he definitely giving him props for being good at what he does, but that don't mean he's not an asshole.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, his dad is fucking P. Diddy. He got to know something, right?
Right.
I mean,
no, actually, his daddy is I'll Be Sure.
I'm sorry, I'll Be Sure. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
and,
sorry.
And his stepdaddy is P. Diddy.
Is P. Diddy.
Right.
I'm sorry.
He got to have some good.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He's got it in the blood. He's got it in the blood. He's got the genes for it. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So what do you think is going to happen with this? Because I don't think that Buddy gonna make it. I think Buddy Days is numbered at this point. Lulu gonna keep an eye on him. He gonna keep an eye on the situation, whatever. I do think they're gonna make it to the showcase, but I don't see Buddy making it.
I think they need to keep that studio door locked because if Lulu could just walk in or whatever, and if they doing something that they ain't got no business doing or whatever, he's dying.
Yeah, right there.
I think either Lulu walks in on them or somehow or another Lulu finds out that something went down, whether somebody slip up or something. But I think Lulu is going to find out.
I still think there's going to be a situation where not necessarily rape. I'm not going to say he's going to rape her. I think he's going to push himself up on her, and she's going to be so naive. She's so naive to all this that she really not processing the fact that she's going to have to fuck this dude for her brother.
Like, I don't think she's naive to that. I think she understood.
I don't think so either.
I think so. I think that she thinks that her good looks and
I think she's 100%. I think she's 100% aware of possible intentions.
When that dude was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and do this for you," but that means that me and you gonna have to work real close together. And he rubbed her face or rubbed her leg. He did something sexual. She knew exactly. Like, as a woman, I'm telling you, she knew what he meant. Like, she's not. I don't think she's that naive. Like, if she were like 15 or 16, if she were Jukebox, then I'd be like, okay, Juke might not understand what's about to go down. But this a grown ass woman. She knows exactly.
She knows the possibility. But I think she just tried to finesse it to the point where it doesn't get to that.
I think she's smarter than him. Yeah, I think she thinks she's gonna be able to get out of it. But I think she's fully aware of what the expectation is.
I 100% agree.
So we switched to Raquel at the bodega. She's looking at her 14 gauge double reinforced steel door with 25 locks on the door.
At least 25.
At least had 10 on there. They had at least about 10 locks on it. So she's ready to go ahead and set up shop in the bodega at this point. So, you know, she's over there kind of assessing the situation, and she pretty much putting the store owner on notice that, you know, my crew gonna be coming in and out. You know, because you see Lulu and Marvin, they show up, and you know, the club owner, the store owner, he's trouble.
I don't like him. He needs to die.
Yeah,
he's going to die. He's
going to.
Yeah.
Either like I said earlier, either Raquel is going to end up having to kill him one way or the other. I personally think he's going to try to either like double cross her. Or get involved in the business. Something. Yeah, he's gonna get caught up, and I think his wife is gonna snitch on him. I think his wife is gonna let Raquel know what's up. Either that, or he's gonna try to double cross Raquel, and I think the wife is gonna play some part in it, one way or the other. But I think the wife is gonna look out for Raquel. Either Raquel is gonna just get rid of this dude because he's an ass, or dude is gonna try to do some bullshit, and the wife is gonna have to hit Raquel like, yo, X, Y, and Z, because the look she gave Raquel after Raquel told him off was like, yes.
I'm happy with his demise either way. He gotta go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's an
asshole.
He's trouble. And I don't like how you treat his wife either.
Yeah.
So initially, when we first got introduced to these characters, you know, I thought that Raquel was gonna put a battery in the wife's back. But now she's putting a battery in her back without even having to do it. The wife is looking at her in admiration, like phenomenal woman. She's looking at Raquel like you're a
that's how you
phenomenal
talk
woman.
to him.
Like you handle my husband this way. I'm digging this. So the wife is getting the courage up to eliminate the husband. She knows for herself that the husband is not only a problem for her, but it's going to be a problem for this. So I agree with what you're saying, CP. Either that wife is going to snitch the husband out, or the wife might even take him out herself. Either way, she's going to get a battery put in her back where she's going to get rid of that husband, and she's going to be with this. Like, this is going to become, you know, this is going to become their new safe house. This is going to become their new thing. You know, that's going to be their new partner.
I'll be happy when he killed off.
Yeah, the husband's got to go because he's disrespectful.
What a dick.
He's really a dick. And you know, he was trying to ask Marvin, you know, how much drugs and money y'all bringing over here. He was just trying to find out too much. Listen, they don't get
it's not your business.
Full of money.
Right,
Listen,
some I need to know. You don't need to know.
No, I don't need to know nothing.
Once you say you agree to it, it's not your business no more.
Right, and that's what she told me. She said, "This is my place of business now." Listen,
you
they
knew
gave him an envelope full of money. I would have went about my fucking business, yo.
Right, it's over. Like, this business supersedes that. Like, we're not doing that.
I'd be like, yo, here go the keys to the store. I'm going on vacation.
I ain't even got to fucking be here.
Vacation. Listen,
I don't even need to be here. Y'all do what the hell y'all want to do.
Right, here go the keys.
That's it. I mean,
y'all handle y'all business. Y'all handle y'all business. Right. So yeah, that husband gonna be a problem, a big problem that's gonna have to be eliminated. And I think it's either gonna be Lulu, Marvin, the wife that's gonna end up taking him out. So can't wait for him to go. I give him one or two more episodes and he out of here.
I love her to be Marvin. I think he's only gonna last one.
That's why I say I give him one more episode. He's on up out of here.
But I don't know if he's killed off or they run him off. But I think he's only gonna last one more.
Yeah, no, they can't run him off. He's gonna have to be killed off because he one of the motherfuckers that go to the feds. He's been taking that envelope full of money and stuff, but he'll still go to the police and snitch them out. So he's got to drop.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to drop him.
Yeah, you're probably right. Good for them.
So in our next scene, we see
feed him the LT.
Yeah, for real. Kanan and Davina walking down the street, and oh my god, he's so infatuated with this girl. And we already know what this is leading to. We see in this episode what this is leading to. So, you know, he's kind of confiding in her his feelings about his mom and her new relationship with Symphony. And, you know, she pretty much telling him about, you know, you got a nice life. You got a nice family. You know, at least your mom cared enough about you for you to stay on you about school and everything. You know, and she's kind of like, you know, telling him like, yo, you got it good right now. You think you don't, but you actually have it good right now. And of course, you know, she's talking about her woes and her problems. She don't even know where her mom at right now and how she had to pay a neighbor to watch her little sister and all this. I mean, so I kind of feel sad for her a little bit and what she's going through, but instantly we see that Kanan is getting in way too deep with this girl. Way, way too deep with this girl.
Am I the only one that think that's bad?
That he's getting in too deep with her?
Yes, and he's just out in the open with it too.
Very bad. Very bad.
Oh.
I
mean, because
it's bad for a lot of different reasons.
Well, I think it's mostly bad because his name is still ringing behind the Buck 20 shit.
That's one. Two, she don't ask him several times to be honest with her about it. He hasn't. Three, she knows what his family's into, and she was on the opposite side of that because she ran with Buck. So
right.
She was on the opposite side of that. So this is not going to be a fairy tale type situation. Like Kanan, you literally try to sleep with the enemy at this point.
You kill off the competition, then sleep with the girl. Like that just don't. I don't know.
Stupid acting right now.
Yeah, like that just further show why he's not ready at this point.
I keep saying he's so damn green, like
yeah,
so
because of the stuff that he's
and
doing
it's
now.
All his movement, of his movements up to this fall is all the family's grief.
Yeah,
like all the grief that the family is having right now is because of him. And this is innocent as he thinks this is right now. You've created a major problem when you invited that girl over there to that stash house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had no business inviting her over there to the stash house.
You shouldn't have ran outside. You in the spot. You're not running outside. It's a spot for a reason. It's a stash for a reason. You stash away. You not seen.
Up until that moment, you didn't even know that
exactly. But you want to run out,
and you got company coming over here.
Yeah, just because you see this girl that you want to expose all this shit, like, that's just dumb. But he's 15,
and that's where I said it last week, and I'll keep saying it. That's where I get frustrated, because I'm like, you gotta be smarter than this. Like, I get it that he was that he was raised, secluded or whatever, but I'm just like, come on, like, some of this shit is just common fucking sense.
That part, I think it is common sense. Like, that part, honestly, like, come on now. You just, what the fuck? Like, what we doing here?
And you digging this situation deeper and deeper into a shithole that you're not gonna be able to get out of. And so we see
inviting company to the stash house, that's like 101. Like, no, you don't do that. Like, what is wrong with you?
And then you kissing up on everybody, like, people, like, your name is still attached to this murder.
Yep.
Even though Rock said, well, the target is off of you because they dropped D-Wiz, but your name is still attached to this murder, and you just pretty much trying to get with the competition who you just murdered off.
Right.
Everybody sees it. It's just
not a good look.
Yeah, it's not a good bad.
It's not good movement.
Yeah.
And you know, this girl is she's in a situation too. She's in I gotta do what's best for me situation.
Exactly.
So, at the end of the day, she's gonna do what's best for her and her sister and her mama. So at the end of the day, she's not gonna have no loyalty to you at all. Just because you bought her some groceries and you showing her a little bit of kindness, you doing that out of guilt. You're not doing that. You're not doing that because this is an organic relationship. Like, you've been trying to get with this girl since the second grade and she ain't showed you no time. So, so now you're just making the situation way worse than it needed to be. So we see Eunique and his partner pull up. They watching this shit from afar. He gets out the car. He started talking to the girl about her mama. He instantly started pulling on her heartstrings. I can see your mama off the rehab. I'll pay for it all. I'll take care of her because you was Buck's girl. What's the deal with you and Kanan? And instantly he pushed her up against a wall without even having to try. He totally manipulated her.
It was easy, though.
It was so easy. So easy, and she gave up the spot, and for her, that's the most important thing, is getting her mom clean, and so she don't have to carry this burden anymore of raising her little sister, and she gave up the stash house.
It's crazy though, and this is kind of like shows their age, because the first thing she said after that, she was just like, don't hurt Kanan or whatever. But that just displays their age and their mentality at that point.
But it also shows that how she woke and Kanan not, because she already knew what time it was.
Exactly. She knew what it was.
Though. But it's a possibility.
Exactly what it was.
But you can't ask Eunique not to do no shit like this. It's just kind of like, yeah, I really don't give a. You know what I'm saying? I really don't give a fuck about that. I give a fuck about business. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's about business. She is way more woke.
Exactly. But the fact that she even had the mentality to say don't hurt Kanan lets you know that she understands that the information she just gave up could potentially be a problem.
But she was dating you. But she was dating Buck 20, who was already in the game, so she kind of was already made privy to the shit that goes on.
Yep.
Versus Kanan, who just pretty much had blindfolds on up until the point where he decided, okay, this is what I see. This is whatever. This is just what I want to do. Whatever. But
because let's play devil's advocate on the situation. All right, Davina, they're portraying her as a good chick that was just dating a drug dealer that wasn't really caught up in the game, but she understood what it was.
Right.
Let's turn her into a straight up vindictive hood bitch, right?
Right.
She could straight up be like, I know you killed this nigga and I'm gonna play the fuck out of you so we can bring you and your mama organization down. Like, it could really easily be like she accidentally, well, not accidentally, but she didn't, she gave him a little breadcrumb. But what if she could straight up be like, I'm gonna play the fuck out of him. I know he liked me, but I know he had something to do with Buck dying and my loyalty is too unique. So the fact that you don't have no mindset of thinking, let me take this shit slow and make sure she really legit. Like, it's just crazy to me how naive, and I don't know. I understand what y'all saying, but it's just crazy to me how naive they are making him.
And not to mention, because her mom is a base head, she could be getting some games, some information from her mom too.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But it goes back to what Kanan told Sean back in Power when he knew that Tasha was giving Sean information, and he pretty much told him that, listen, you fucking with a chick that's bad and she knows she bad, she dangerous. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lesson that he's learned. That's see, the thing about it is though, CP, this Kanan hasn't learned those hard knock life lessons yet. He's learning them now because at this point he's had a normal childhood life, so to speak. Although his family has been in the game, he's been shielded from that. He's been protected from that. You know, he's up until this point, he's lived a normal life where he's hung out with his friends after school
Yeah,
playing
because they
video
still did
games.
normal shit. Tuesday, dinner with mom.
Right.
Yeah, but
Wednesday, dinner with the
I hear
family.
y'all, but I'm like, I mean, I grew up in a normal house too, but some shit I just knew, like, but common sense ain't common. So what can I say?
No, common sense ain't common. It ain't at all. You know, and he's learning these lessons. Each episode is a new lesson that he's learned, and unfortunately, it's because of all of his movement. It's how it's his decisions that is causing all this grief on the family. So, you know,
That's a fact. That is a fact.
you see them at the next thing you see them at the pizza place. They're playing video games. Again, he's a 15-year-old boy at this point, so he's kind of bouncing back and forth between the new life that he's in plus his old life. You know, they're all hanging out. You know, Famous come in. He's bragging about how he's got studio time and how he's been working with the producer and how
shout out to the Street Fighter game.
Yeah, I like the Street Fighter game too. And you know, Jukebox get a little pissed off at this point because she was like, "Here I am, I hear boosting and pulling licks to try to get money up to get studio time."
She should have been pissed off.
I agree. And your sister don't put you on for free
for nothing.
So she kind of, you know, she gets pissed and she leaves. And you know, and Famous, his dumb ass just don't understand what's the problem, why she upset. Like, you know, and Kanan kind of broke it down to him and was like, yo, you know, she been out here hustling to try to get money up for the studio. And, you know, you just got put on for free, you know. But Famous, you can see in Famous that he really thinks that he's getting ready to be put on. So I guess my question is, what do you think is going to happen to him? Or how do we lose Famous?
I only got one problem with Famous. Besides, why does he think he's that good? Like, this is not the first person that told him that he's not that good.
Yeah.
You know, like,
but if you ain't got confidence in yourself, like, I mean, I was gonna be the next MC Light, and I'm sure my shit was trash. But in my mind, back in 8th grade, yo, I was that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't tell me shit. But I'm sure if I went back and looked at it, it was trash.
But I'm just saying, but it's just kind of like one of the things where, I don't know, maybe because I'm just a music head, I listen to music a lot. I just gotta remove myself from that music portion of it. That's first of all. So I'm gonna remove myself from the music portion of it. I think Famous is gonna be shelved as far as his music career. Like, that shit ain't gonna go nowhere. I think it's gonna be a blow up argument.
I don't know. I don't know if we've seen enough of what's going to happen. I think it's going to have something to do with the sister. I think ultimately it's going to have something to do with the sister, but somehow, some way, Famous is not going to make it out. And
I think it's going to become a casualty of war. Like, I don't think it's going to be anything that he necessarily did per se. I think that he's going to become a casualty of what is going to end up happening between his sister and Lulu. And
I know he ain't going to make it out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, you know, but and my thing is this, again, I feel like, and this is just me, I feel like the producer, who's his name, Camacho, whatever the man's name is, I feel like he has no intention of trying to make him a star. He done already told him his rhymes ain't shit. Yep. But I think it's about getting with the sister. I don't think it has anything to do. Right. That studio time ain't really costing him nothing.
Yep.
Because he know it ain't going nowhere. He's not really about to put no money into doing nothing, making Famous a star. He gonna give him a little bit of studio time, let him think you laying some tracks, let him do that showcase, and what he
Get what he want
probably
to get from the sister and keep it
exactly,
pushing.
and then he gonna be done with it. He probably banking on the fact that the showcase he gonna flop, and he gonna be like, yeah, man, see, I can't work with you. You know, the people ain't ready for what you got. You know what I mean? Like he has a way to get out of it without it being an issue. But by that time, he gonna already get what he want from the sister because he ain't looking for no relationship. He just trying
I
to hit.
agree. I agree.
I know. I know. I actually know. Like, Famous is not going to make it out because, like, I seen like the episodes of the characters. You know, whatever. How many episodes did they in, and where their demise at? Some of them. I just don't know really how this is going to play out as far as his demise go.
Lulu gonna walk in on him having sex with his girlfriend.
I can
And Lulu
see
gonna,
that. Yeah,
Lulu
I can
gonna
see.
kill him. He gonna
I
have a
can see
Marvin
Lulu.
moment and lose it. He
I
gonna
can
have
see.
a Marvin
And
moment.
shoot up the studio.
I can see Lulu
Yeah.
walking in. I can see Lulu walking in and losing it. I can see where Lulu gets startled, you know, by Famous, you know, and he just shoots because he's already on a rampage. He's already see red, so he can, you know, I can see all those type of different things. I just hate the fact that I ain't gonna say hate the fact. I just like the fact that I just lost my train of thought.
Well, what you're seeing is you're seeing a lot of innocents being caught up, as CP said, in a casualty of war.
That's
Like
what I was about to get ready to say.
kids. These are kids, and because of someone else's bad decision making or someone else's moves, you know, they all are collateral damage.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to end up happening with Famous and his sister. You know, his sister had good intentions on trying to do something right for her brother, but because she was fucking with a drug dealer, and you know she had to do what she had to do to get him on, all of it is not going to end well. You know, it's not going to be a happy ending for any of them.
It all came down to him wanting to pursue a music career and him losing his life behind wanting to pursue a music career.
Exactly.
Because of that. That was my train of thought. Because of that, I'd hate the fact that that's the way that it ends because he was just trying to do something better. Even though his lyrics is ass.
I agree.
Even though his lyrics was ass, but he just tried to do something. He just tried something better. He's not
Yeah.
like even the producer said, "Well, you're not in the streets like that. This, that, and the other. You do whatever." Hell, most of the rappers that rap not in the streets like that. But
Right.
it was just kind of like, well, I'm trying to do this, you know, because I'm not doing that, but I'm trying to do this. I can rap about what I'm talking about, and he was just trying to do better, and it's gonna all just end bad for him because of the situation.
Yep.
Because you know.
So, and here becomes where I have where I'm getting ready to start having issues with this episode. So next thing we see Marvin show up to Scrappy's place, and you know, because Raquel had already told him that she wanted the stash house moved to the bodega today. She wanted everything moved. So, which I didn't understand. Lulu was there at the bodega when she made that comment. So, you know, here in my mind, I'm thinking that, well, she did say Marvin's going to be in charge of moving the stash house. So, you know, when Marvin goes over to Scrappy house and bang on Scrappy's door, and Scrappy comes to the door like, yo, I'm sick. I ain't coming out today, you know. He said, I had some bad food. You know, my ass is leaking.
Right.
He's like, I ain't going nowhere, yo. And so, you know, instead of Marvin paging his brother or calling his brother up and say, yo, Scrappy ain't gonna be able to come through. I need you to come through and help me with the stash house. What does he decide to fucking do? He decides to go look for his nephew.
I said this before. Marvin is not a thinker
at all.
Marvin doesn't think. He reacts and then he thinks.
At all.
But Marvin is just not a he's just not a thinker.
And it's just stupid.
And to even like when I first saw it, I was like, well, why she ain't put Lulu on there, you know, whatever. Then I had to rethink, and I was like, well, Marvin is the muscle.
Same thing too. Marvin's
the muscle.
Yep.
You know. But I'm like, Marvin is just not a thinker. She probably was thinking it was harmless. All you doing is nobody really know where the stash at. All you doing is just getting the stash. You moving from one spot to the next.
Why are we moving it in the middle of the day? Why? I mean, I understand. Again, I get it that they were covering the boxes and they was doing this and doing that. But if this is supposed to be a house that no one is living in, you got a bright red, candy apple red Mercedes Benz pulling up to an abandoned house. Like, sir, don't even like again. At least wait till it's dark.
Or they should have did like he should have did what Eunique them crew did. Came with a van.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
came with
A
in an
moving van
unmarked car.
or you don't have like a hoopty. Like, I have, back in the day, friends who dibbled and dabbled. They had their going out car, they had their flash car, and they had their work car. Like, you can't do that type of work in that type of car.
Yeah.
I
Like,
just
you
think
don't have a
he don't
hoopty, you ain't
think.
got no rundown shit. You know what I'm saying?
But it's also I'm winning. I'm on a high horse. I'm out here doing my thing. Everybody know who I am. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. It's also that type of mentality that Marvin carries. Marvin carries an armor about himself where he thinks that he the man and I can't be touched. I can't be fucked with. And so, it kind of goes back to what we've said in earlier episodes, is that they really don't have no crew. They really don't have no muscle. They really don't have no hands. Because if this would have been, it's kind of like what happened with Tommy and his crew when they were moving the stuff from the laundromat at the time, and the feds was watching them, and they end up getting the dirty clothes, and they had the work in another car or in another van. So it was just poorly put together. It was a last minute thing. He really didn't think about it. Instead of calling his brother for help, he goes to his 15-year-old nephew, which we knew right then and there that wasn't going to be a good idea at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, Kanan asking too many damn questions. Get in the car, nigga.
Right. What are we talking about?
He was trying to let Marvin know that, look, Ma already told me I ain't need to be part of the stash house no more. Blah, 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 this. I got to go to this class. He was really trying to get out of it because he really didn't want to do it. And,
that's what it was. He didn't want to do it.
He just didn't want to do it.
I think that's beyond. I think their relationship goes beyond that from the last episode where Marvin gave him some work. Like, we got this understanding now. So what are we talking about? Like, we have this understanding. We built this. We
do for me, I do for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So since we built this relationship, this should not be a conversation at this point. Really, I did this for you because you came to me saying so whatever. So now I need you to do this for me.
Speaking of doing for me, so in the very next scene, you see Raquel. She over there talking to one of the building superintendents, saying she need 2 apartments, one right on top of each other. What is that needed for?
I don't know. I don't know. She's setting something up though.
She's setting something up. I didn't get a clear understanding of what the setup is, but as usual,
that might be one of those we find out later.
Per the usual, she pulls out an envelope full of money for the building superintendent.
Oh, we pitching out of those apartments. We ain't got nothing else to do outside of those apartments. We pitching.
That's what I was thinking
this
too.
Level, we going to this level for this split, that level for that one. We pitching.
That's what I was thinking too, D. I thought that's what she was trying to do was in lieu of losing the corners.
Jack City-ish.
Yeah.
Yes. In lieu of losing the corners, then we finna get us some trap house.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. To me, like this is where I want to set up what I got going on at. We pitch it. You go meet me at the apartment door, hand it out to you through the mail slot. You on about your business.
Yep. So she's setting up drive-through. she's setting up her some delivery stuff going on. Yeah, they get ready to be serving out of them apartments. That's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking too. So then you see Juju, Jukebox, Juju, Laverne, Jukebox go see her uncle at the diner, and they have a moment. They talk. She pretty much letting him know how aggravated or frustrated she is with him. Like, she like, you just like my dad. You ain't good for shit. And he was like, yo, I ain't have nothing to do with that. That was Famous' sister that put him on. And she was like, well, why can't you do a favor for me? And that's when he tells her that, look, listen, you don't want people out here doing favors for you because that's just another way for them to keep their thumb on you.
Yep.
When you got a motherfucker doing favors for you, and she agreed with him on that. But you could also see that she was very disappointed that her uncle is not trying to help her push her dream forward. And he pretty much tells her, like, listen, I would. He said, I would have no problem with giving you the money at all. But Marvin ain't gonna go for that. Marvin don't have a fit with that. That's my daughter. I do for her. She got to learn how to do things for herself. So, you can see that he respects his brother's wishes, but don't necessarily agree with him. And then you see in that moment that he actually tries to be a parent to her, making sure she ate. He's like, yo, did you eat yet? She's like, I gotta go. And he wraps up the rest of his sandwich and gives it to us as eat. You know, so we see that, you know, he does care about his niece, you know, his family. But what y'all think about that?
Can I ask you something? Do you think that it's that Marvin wouldn't approve Lulu giving her some money?
Absolutely.
Or is that Marvin wouldn't approve giving her some money for studio time?
I think for both. I think both scenarios apply because he clearly said in when it was at the diner, he's like, you know, Marvin feels like y'all got to come up the same way we came up. That y'all got to fend for y'allself. That, you know, we ain't have nobody do it for us, so y'all got to learn how to do it for y'allself. So he's perfectly fine with his daughter out there hustling, and you know, same thing with Kanan. I think he has that expectation for them to get it on their own, like how we had to get it. So I think he would be absolutely offended if Lulu did anything for her, regardless of what the reason was. Like, no, don't do shit for her. Let her do it for herself, because you clearly see that he don't do shit for her. You know,
because I thought it'd been more so for studio time, because she could have easily said, or they could have just had a bomb like, you ain't get this for me, or whatever. You was hustling, you know, or whatever the case may be. But I thought that it was just more so studio time. She could hustle and get the money.
Listen,
and then he find out she in the studio.
Rule. I think at this point it's an unspoken rule in the family, because at this point she didn't even have to get it from her uncle, because she could have got it from her aunt. She got it from her aunt Raquel, because the way her aunt handed out envelopes full of money.
True.
If it was money she needed, she could have went to any one of them and got money. So
good facts.
I think it's just because of the fact that that's an unspoken rule in the family, that everybody got to get it on their own. You know, everybody got to hustle, because the aunt knew she was hustling last week. She came over there with the bag of clothes. So, like, you know, if they really were concerned about it, they would say, no, I'll give you the money for you. I don't want my niece out here pulling legs.
But even with that being said,
organization, the whole family is part of the organization.
Because, you know, she was just talking to her about, you know, different shit, and she was just like, you know, don't tell my dad. You know, like, don't tell my dad. So that couldn't have been like a code of silence, even, you know, with I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I'm just looking at it's like different ways.
This whole family element is weird. This whole family element is weird on how they move. But I think it's just respect for the fact that this is not my daughter. This is not my child.
Right.
I got to respect, you know, my brother's wishes on how he wants to parent his child. Because, I mean, the same can be said for Kanan. You know, if they were out here doing stuff for Kanan that Raquel didn't approve of, you know, she wouldn't be having any of that. So,
hell no.
I just think it's a stupid, unspoken rule that they have in the family.
Yeah.
And so you see Jukebox, she make up her mind, and she call up her crew. And it's like, yo, we need to go pull a lick. And they pretty much turn her down, shut her down. You know, like they didn't want to go do the lick with her. And so she got pissed and went to go do the lick on her own. And I was like, oh, I know this ain't gonna end well. Like,
yeah,
you know,
that I had a real bad feeling about that. It didn't go the way I sort of, as bad as I thought it was gonna go, but yeah, I had a real bad.
Could have been worse, right?
Yeah.
Do y'all remember from the previous episode? There was like, with one call we all show up.
Yep.
Right, and she said that on the phone. She was like, "What happened to when one call we all show up?" She said,
"Yeah, that was some bullshit."
Yep.
But again,
do you
I think
feel like they
because
didn't show up for her because she was a girl?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
I did.
Yep,
yes,
I agree.
Yes, from what my man said when he was whooping on the security guard ass, that was some bullshit though.
Yep. But it also lets you know how much of a rider she is. Like, well, fuck y'all, I'm gonna go get the work done by myself.
Yeah.
You know, stupid decision because she could have got caught. But at the end of the day, you know, she was on a mission and she was working towards a goal.
Yeah.
And she wasn't gonna let anything stand in her way of trying to get this money. Which really didn't accomplish anything at all, but in her mind, she had to go get this money. And so you see Marvin, this is what I didn't understand the first time. So in the next scene, you see Marvin and Kanan pulling up to the stash house. Y'all don't see this car on the street? Y'all don't see this car that's sitting in front of this abandoned crack house up the street, a nice luxury car.
So that was my question. Were they in a luxury car? I saw the inside of it, but I didn't really see.
I felt like they were still in Eunique's car from when they were riding around earlier.
I'm not really sure they was in Eunique's car because I didn't see it.
Remember when they pulled up on Davina? They were in the BMW.
I do remember that, but the second time when it flashed over to that car, I'm not sure if I really saw the car because I questioned that too. And I was like, if you see this car, man, you got to circle the block a few times, right?
That's what I'm saying. You would think that he would have circled the block more than once.
But I'm not really sure. And I'm not really sure if he saw the car I'm not even sure if he would have thought anything of it because you should have left him at the stash house anyway.
Absolutely. Like, I don't understand. Like, again, that whole situation was just dumb.
Because they showed him in the car earlier, I'm gonna assume that they were still in the car.
Yeah, I feel like they were probably still. Like, I don't feel like they went and changed cars. Like,
Marvin probably didn't pay it no mind.
But that's just the problem. That's just telling me that's what I'm talking about right there. That's just how stupid he is. Like, you stupid right now. You should have circled that block a couple times, make sure everything was straight. Make sure there was nobody around lurking or whatever. You should have been a little bit more inconspicuous. But
then again, they also didn't have no reason to think anybody knew what his stash house was.
That's true too.
Right. So he probably wasn't thinking nothing of it, and then that's just the way that he is.
Yep.
This is the way that he is. The crazy thing is, he's kind of like the same asshole in Ballers too.
I was going. You know what?
He's kind of like the same. He is that shit from Ballers. He's kind of the same asshole from Ballers.
Typecasting, maybe?
Yeah,
personality.
It might be because he's kind of the same arrogant asshole. But that's neither here nor there. All right, carry on.
Oh, you so silly. So Jukebox on the back of this truck again, and she came all the way out here. You risk your freedom to steal one jacket, man. I would have been grabbing everything on the racks. Listen, I would have been grabbing boxes. Listen, if I was getting ready, last time she came with the trash bag, so I don't know why she was ill prepared to pull this lit because I mean she did all that to grab one jacket.
She probably thought the squad was coming with her.
Well, after the squad let her down and told her they wasn't showing up, like at that point,
she knew she was by herself. That just wasn't.
But I thought about that. It could have been a specific time or whatever. And I think she was looking for that coat specifically because other people were selling shit for $20, $30, and she could just sell one product for $250.
That's true too.
I think in her mind she was like, I only need XYZ amount of money to
let
get
me
the
get
studio
something that I can sell to get me that dollar amount.
Yeah, I don't think because again, she's not doing this because she needs a whole lot of money. She just needs studio money because I feel like she don't have no problem getting what she needs for her day-to-day needs. But she can't go to her dad and be like, yo, I need $500 for studio time. But she probably don't have no problem with lunch money and bus money and going to arcade. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably not her issue.
Yeah. And so we picked up on it last week, and of course we said that wasn't going to be the end of the security guard. We knew that the security guard recognized her. The security guard hemmed her up and yoked her up. And was like, yo, listen, calm down. First off, thank you. In his own way, you know, he was pretty much telling her, thank you for saving my life last week. You know,
because he would have got stumped out.
Yeah, but if you come back here again, that's it. You know, you go, I'll let you get away this time with the jacket. You like, but don't bring your ass back here no more. And that was a bit of reality for her. Like, yo, he let me go because he could have just took the jacket from her and let her go, but he let her.
Right, he let her keep the jacket too. Yeah, and
that was more meaningful for her than him letting her go. Was the fact that he actually let me keep the jacket. And so Kanan dumbass get introduced to the stash house, and you know, again, I have an issue with Marvin going over here by himself with this boy, a 15-year-old boy. You by yourself. This boy ain't got no gun on him. He don't even know how to use no gun or nothing. You go and trust this boy to pack up all this money and all this cocaine by himself
because of the bond that they thought that he built. When he gave him the shit that he dealt on the last episode.
And they sitting here up the street watching him load the truck up. They, you know, load the back of the trunk up. You know, they kind of peeping game or whatever.
Easy money.
Easy money. That's exactly what they were saying to themselves.
Easy money.
Easy money. Or they ain't got no crew out here. They ain't got no muscle out here. Like, at this point, yo, let's go. And I think it was a stupid decision for Marvin to... Because at first what I thought was going to happen was him and Marvin was going to go take one load. and they was going to follow them to the stash house and find out where their new stash house was.
So was the
And
car
they was gonna
completely
rob
full?
that.
The car was completely full, so he had to make the first run. He was coming back to make the second run.
Nah, yes, they had loaded the trunk, but you know, they really could have put some shit in the back seat.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
about to say they had plenty of more room. They
That's what I'm
going.
saying.
Like,
but maybe Marvin won't get no shit on his leather seats because you don't want to play that shit. You don't play that game.
He looked like he might be that tight, like, oh, don't fuck up my car.
Yeah, don't fuck up my car. You get the shit off the leather seats.
But but to me, you knew how much work you had to move. To me, I kind of going back to what Crystal was saying. You should have came with the right type of vehicle to begin with.
right.
You knew what all work that was in there that needed to be moved. You know all the
Marvin
shit
don't
fit in
think.
your trunk at one. Marvin doesn't think. You know, anybody else, they would have came with a minivan or something that wouldn't have been recognized. You know.
And really, that's kind of Rock's fault because Rock know that Marvin is a fuck up.
And know that she shouldn't have trusted him with something like that without having somebody else there with him.
Exactly, because Rock know that Marvin is kind of a fuck up. Like, I get that the fact that he's the muscle, you know, and I understand why she was just like, you know, I'm gonna put Marvin on here, you know, this, that, and the other. But she also got to know, or she also does know that Marvin is kind of a fuck up. And for her to trust him
it all the time,
for her to
But I
trust
feel
him
like
to
they're
do
giving
all that
him
shit.
But okay, he's a fuck up. But again, I feel like they're giving him the easy shit. Like he doesn't handle anything that involves thinking. Like I need you to pack up some boxes, put them in your car, and drive them across town. Like
How
it's
could
not
you
that
fuck
fucking
that up?
complicated. Yeah, like
how could you fuck that up?
I feel like they thought they were giving him the easy shit. Like we're not asking you to find a stash house. We're not asking you to make no deals. We're not asking you to negotiate shit. Just pack up a box and drive it across town.
Marvin should be assigned hits. That's it.
That's it.
He should be assigned
homework.
executions.
He should be given homework, and that's it.
That's it. He should be assigned execution. He's not smooth enough. He's not smooth enough to pull off the Reggie Jackson, but like he could have came around the side and delivered the home run for the Reggie Jackson. And you know, Lulu could have, you know, did everything.
Or what he should have did was before he left.
But he just not.
What I wanted to see was exactly what happened when he came back. What I wanted to see him was like when he was loading those boxes up in the truck. Pete gave that somebody was down the street watching them.
Yes, that's what he's good for.
That we didn't know that. So when he left with the work, I expected him to circle the block and come in the back door and fuck up shit. That's what I want to see. I want to see Marvin more on point than what he was being portrayed as. But obviously we were wrong.
I mean, but that's when he pulled up. That's what he's good at.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's, you know, like even when the last episode when he crossed paths with Eunique and he did the mean mug and this and other. Like he's the muscle. I can't emphasize it no more than that. He's definitely dumber than Tommy, but he's the muscle. This is just what he.
And he's not afraid. He's not afraid of confrontation. He's not afraid of confrontation.
When shit goes left, this is who you want backing your shit when it goes left.
Right.
You know, like the way he took care of that when he first pulled back up. I was like, you could have handled that no better. The only thing you probably needed was a bigger gun. Yep. Right? The only thing you probably needed was a bigger gun. But
I didn't understand why he came in through the back way the second time. That's where y'all should have came in the first time. Y'all should have came in the back of the house the first time.
But it's a stash.
I guess.
It's the stash. Like nobody's supposed to be on a stash like that. That's why it's the stash. You know, but he handled it the way I don't know. I don't know. Marvin is just he a wild. Yeah, he a wild card. He like the deuce of heart, deuce of diamond in space or some shit. He just, you know what I'm saying? It's unpredictable when it's going to come out like that. You know, like it's, he's just a wild card to be.
So you see Jukebox is back over to Nicole's house. You know, that's her safe place. She's back at Nicole's house and Nicole's trying to jack it on. And, you know, they're having a whole conversation about the history of Ralph Lauren. So, you know, she about that low life for real because she done the research on Ralph Lauren and Nicole's like, I don't understand what's the big hype about it. It's just a jacket.
Ralph
like, it's just a jacket to you, but for me, and she spoke big facts on that. For me, it's not. It's out of reach for me. is supposed to be out of reach for me because y'all and your friends are supposed to have this kind of shit. Y'all supposed to wear Ralph Lauren. I broke ass. We ain't supposed to be able to buy this. We ain't supposed to be able to wear this. So, she ended up giving the jacket to the little girl because the little girl had told her in the last episode to stop that boosting or whatever. So she kind of realized that, I skated today, but the next time I might not be able to skate. So I think at that moment she made her mind up that, I ain't gonna do this boosting no more. Now I got to come up with another way to get this money so this is going to even make the situation even worse for her now because this was her means to get the studio time. Now she's turned that off. Now what is she going to do now to get the money?
Lulu need to give her the money because I think that's bullshit that Lulu won't help her. I heard everything, the explanation about the family and all that, but fuck that. Lulu need to go and get that girl that money. But anyway, I'm sorry.
But you do see in the preview next week that he does tell old boy that, listen, I want my niece to sing on this track. So, he's starting to
maybe he thought about it.
I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to put something else up in there to kind of make him more comfortable with his girl hanging out over here at the studio. So having his niece there and everything, I think that's his way of being comfortable with this situation. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. It's like, okay, my niece is trying to get put on. She wants to make music or whatever. I don't necessarily feel comfortable with my old lady being over here and I'm not here or whatever the case may be. My niece is here. So I think this is his way of being a little bit more comfortable with what's going on with his girl hanging out over here at the studio. And at the same time, he's helping his niece out.
Yeah, I think it's a two-way street when it comes down to that. Like he got his niece there, and his girl is there, so the niece is kind of keeping a watch on it,
right?
To see what's going on. The niece is no longer pulling these capers off, so
she's safe, right?
She's
a win situation.
I don't know if the family knows that she's pulling these capers, that she's doing this boost and shit.
I kind of feel like they do. I
didn't catch that though because she hasn't been to the studio yet.
No, but when you say you don't know whether or not the family knows that she's pulling licks, I think they do. Because remember last week she came over with the clothes and let them over at
over the rock because she was just like, my father be going into my shit or whatever.
Yep. And I think he Lulu even had a conversation about it because something about when they were talking about the whole money situation, she was like, no, I get my own money or whatever the case may be. So I think that the family knows about it, but I don't think that they realize
they don't oppose it though.
She's out there by herself doing it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They probably know that she went with a crew and out here pulling licks. I don't think that they feel like she's out there pulling licks by herself.
Right. Okay.
But either way, her and the little girl have a moment again, and the little girl ended up taking her virginity, and she's a little bit of an aggressive. The little girl's a little bit of aggressive. She's like, I feel like this ain't her first time. I feel like
I didn't feel like that was her first time either.
Jukebox had boxers on though. Like
she been wearing them out every episode.
Yeah, she had boxers on before.
I know, but it's just I don't know. I'm looking too far into it.
No, you're not looking too far into it because what you're seeing is how Marvin is raising this girl. This girl's being raised.
That's
up
what
like
I'm thinking.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm like,
she's being raised up like a boy.
But okay.
She's being raised up like a little boy. She's not being treated like we said this at the very beginning of the podcast. I don't think he was on that episode. I think me and CP was talking about that. Like she's not treated like she's the princess of the family. She's the only girl besides Raquel. So you would think that, she would be girly like Raquel.
And Rock and her lost touch, for a while because she was like, my girl ain't coming over no more and spending the night.
Exactly. So
and all the type of shit. Yeah.
So I think what she's being raised up to be a tomboy. She's being treated like that. Her daddy don't show no affection or love or anything. She ain't got no mama figure around. So I think at this point, she's just turned into a little tomboy. And as she gets older, that's what she's become. She dressed like a boy. She act like a boy. That's what she is.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see what is a boy named Eunique's crew bust down the door. They blast their way into the stash house.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Kanan, like he's scared.
Should be.
and they tie him up, and I feel like the dude that was holding the gun on him was out there on that corner that day when him and D Wade shot up Buck 20. What y'all think about that?
He definitely knew that Kanan was guilty.
Yeah, but he kind of knew, like, with certain, because he was kind of like, he fucked up because he stayed in the house too long. He was doing all that cap with Kanan. Either you should have shot him and went on about your business or whatever, but all that capping that you was doing allowed Marvin the time to get back to the house to see what was going on. And he's just sitting there like, oh shit, they robbing me. These motherfuckers robbing me. Like, he should have just stuck up on their ass and shot their ass in the back of the motherfucking van. But what does this fool do? He drives into the back of the van. It ain't hit nobody.
Man, I was like, there wasn't a better way to handle that. Like, that was the best you came up with.
That was the best you came up with, and then start shooting out the window. You should have snuck up on them niggas when they was loading the van up and blasted their ass.
But see, here's the difference. Tommy probably would have did the same shit. Ghost would have snuck up through the back and shot everybody ass.
Yep.
So now that's the difference. Like
I get where you're going with that. He's the hot head.
Yeah,
he had a hot head.
People like that want to deal with this shit head on. They don't want to deal. They don't want to think about the shit. But like, you know what? I can go through the back, and like Marvin probably like, yo, my nephew was in here. I just need to react right now. Anybody else? I can say anybody else, but people like Ghost would be like, yo, if my nephew was in here, I'm just hoping he alive. But I might have come through this back door and I might have kill everybody in the spot.
He did that when he shot old Buddy, and Buddy fell on top of Kanan, and he was coughing up blood and shit. He shot that nigga in the head, and that brain matter shot up in Kanan's face. That motherfucker threw up.
But that's how they deal with it. As far as him possibly being out on the corner when they killed Buck 20. I'm not sure if he was on the corner with Buck 20 or whatever, but like I said, Buck 20 yelled Kanan's name out when they first approached. So his name is already there. So Kanan's name is already...
They didn't have no mask. So they
didn't have no mask
anyway.
either.
Yeah, they didn't have no mask.
So they had no mask either. Like, he was just like, well, what you want, Kanan, or whatever the hell he said, or
that's
whatever.
What he said.
So his name is already there and is already ringing. So he didn't even have to be there to know that Kanan was there.
So what do y'all think is going to happen with Kanan? Because we saw that he was shook up by what had happened. Part of that is fear that I could have got killed. Part of it was fear that, oh shit, we just got robbed. I think all those emotions were kind of all in that moment that when he was throwing up, because he didn't seem to be as for what he had done to Buck 20. I didn't expect to see that reaction out of him throwing up when that boy brain matter splattered all over him. But then again, I guess so. He was. You could tell that he was scared. You could tell that he was scared about what was going on. But this is the life that you begging to be in.
Right. That's what I keep coming back to. Like,
this is the life you begging to be in. So ain't no scared now. This what you wanted.
When old boy got shot in the chest, I think Kanan was fine. But when the brain matters happened, it's like it's just it
that was too much.
No pun intended. It blew his mind. So it's just kind of like, fucked up for him.
But it kind of goes back to again how.
Of course, we know he'd get used to it.
Of course, we know he's gonna become a regular at it.
Yeah.
But kind of go back to how ignorant Marvin is. Marvin should not brought him back home with those clothes on. Marvin should not have brought him back home.
That was the dumbest shit ever. Like, you gotta
you should have took that boy to your house, dressed him, and dropped him off the way he was supposed to be going anyway.
Pull something out of Jukebox closet. Like, come on.
The conversation that y'all had when you killed Buck 20, you gotta burn that shit and shit like that. Like, you already know this, right?
Why would you send him home to your sister's house at that?
With that shit on.
With that shit on. That just tells you what that Marvin just.
Nah, we'll get rid of this body. I'm taking you shopping.
Yep. Taking you shopping. I'm taking you to your cousin's house. Get some out your cousin's closet real quick.
I'm not taking you because Marvin has money. I'm taking you shopping. We about to get ready to go get you a whole new fit.
Yep. Everything, shoes, The shoes, that jacket, everything should have been gone.
Exactly. All of that should have been
All
burnt.
that shit
All
should
of
have
that
been
should've
burnt
been
and
burnt.
gone. We about to get you a whole new outfit.
Yep.
That shit is about to get ready to go. This body's about to go. This gun is about to go. Those
And these
clothes about to
clothes
get ready to
gone.
go.
Yep.
All that shit is going to the same bag and being burnt at the same time.
He take that boy back home with these same bloody ass clothes home. I'm like, what the fuck
That
are
was
you
so
doing, Marvin?
stupid.
That was so stupid. Marvin.
That's your man's. That's
No.
your man's. Like he said in Billy, that's your man's.
Man, Marvin, come on, bro. You got to get it together now. You doing too much.
That's your man's.
Hey, so you see Katie come home. He rushed home and he throws his shirt up under the bed. I already knew that Raquel was going to find that shit.
Right, because she had said earlier in the episode about him not doing his own laundry. So
yep,
you already knew what was going to happen with that.
Yep, I knew what was getting ready to happen with
and
that.
most kids throw shit up under the bed.
First place your parents
the
going
first thing. Yeah, the first thing.
Like, I just, again, I blame that on Marvin, because why did you let him come home with these clothes on? So she's taking him to the night class that we find out that Symphony is teaching. And I feel like the only reason why she was trying to have that conversation with him then was because she knew that he was getting ready to go be in his class. But I feel like you should have had that conversation with him already prior to that.
Yep.
Hey, listen, this is the dude I'm kicking it with. I want y'all to try to get along. I want y'all to be peace between y'all. But I feel like that was just a knee-jerk reaction because I'm getting ready to drop you off to his class.
And I'll be honest, if I'm Kanan, now I'm like, so did you really enroll me in this class because you worried about me doing good in school?
Or did you want me to spend
did you want me to spend more time with Symphony?
Yes.
Exactly.
You're forcing me to spend more time with him. Yep.
Because I was looking at it like, is this the reason why she's picking his brain? Because she wants something better for Kanan? Like she was trying to show Kanan a different side of everything, and because Symphony isn't so much as far as architect, and she see a bigger picture outside of the drug game for Kanan. Is this why she's placing them into that position? She's putting them in position to be successful outside the drug game and trying to show them a different way.
Yes. You saw that in the very first episode when she was trying to get him to go to that school.
Yes.
You saw that when she was trying to get him to go to that school.
So and then she keep asking Symphony all these questions, and the other was like, oh, this is perfect.
She's trying to lure him away from the street. She's trying to lure him away from the street through the means of education. But that ain't attractive to him. He ain't with that. He ain't a scholar. So, that would have worked with someone like Ghost, but Kanan is lured to the streets. So he's more attracted to what's happening out there in the family business than he is with trying to get an education and be a scholar. He ain't trying to be that, but that's what she wants him to be. So I feel like it's, again, it's a double-sided sword because it's killing two birds with one stone. One, I want to try to lure him away from the streets. That's why she wants him to like Symphony so much, because I want this man to end up being a positive influence on my child. And two, I want to try to force this to happen because what's happening right now ain't working.
Right.
This shit ain't working, so I need to get him further away from this. That's why I'm gonna go take him in and enroll him in a college course and see if this will turn the tide.
Because his grades already slipping, and he with D-Wiz and everything, grades already slipping. So now she gotta try to put something in place for him to get right back on track.
But I think what's end up going to happen is I think him and Symphony is going to develop a relationship. I think they are going to develop a relationship, a positive relationship. But it's still not going to be enough to lure him from the streets. He's still going to want to do the street shit. But Kanan wasn't dumb. Even in his adulthood, he wasn't dumb. We see him put this whole plan together on Ghost and Tommy now from jail.
He gonna put whatever he learned to the best of his abilities and what he's capable of doing.
Yep.
That's Kanan MO. That was Kanan MO in First Power. Whatever he knows, he's gonna use to the best of his ability in order to reach his objective.
So and then you see Raquel, she at home doing what her mom does. She cleaned up his room, getting his laundry together, and she finds a bloody shirt. So
I had that polo shirt too, by the way.
That polo shirt was lit.
I had that polo shirt in multiple colors. I had white, red, and blue, yellow, blue. I had yellow, blue, and white. I had multiple colors, blue and green and white, multiple colors.
And I feel like
never had any polos.
I feel like they retroed that shirt.
Hey, you better stop lying to me.
I feel like they have in recent years. I really do.
If I can find it, I'm gonna get it.
I guarantee you it's out there.
All the colors I already had.
I don't seen that shirt here recently before this show. I feel like they retro that maybe last winter. I think maybe last season winter they may have retroed it. But what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they're going to automatically feel like Scrappy is responsible for the hit on the Stash House?
I think they're gonna think Scrappy in on it.
I think so too. But I don't think they're going to kill Scrappy. I think eventually Scrappy's going to give up Kanan's. What's going to end up happening? Scrappy's going to say it was probably that bitch that he had come by here, and then that's going to prompt them to start asking questions about Davina, like, "Yo, what's up with that?" I don't think it ends well for her either.
It's not going to end well for her. I'll just tell you based off of what I've seen, as far as how many episodes she in.
Well, go ahead and run it down for me, DJ. Go ahead and run it down for me. What you thinking?
As far as I know, I believe she's either in 6 or 7 episodes. So she's not going to make it all the way through because we know that it's 10 episodes. So she's not going to make it all the way through. I believe at the end of the day, there's going to be Kanan to pull the trigger.
I think Scrap Killer.
I think Kanan pulls the trigger too, so I agree with you, DJ.
I think Kanan will pull the trigger.
I'm going back to all those little tidbits. And you need to really go back and do a little bit of rewatching of Power Season 2 and Season 3. Because in those moments where Kanan is having conversations with Tariq and Sean and other people besides Ghost and Tommy, he makes little comments. And he did make a comment to Tariq about you ain't no real killer unless you kill somebody that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And being that's his first love, and she's going to be the reason why the family is hurting right now, and the family got stuck up and robbed. Kanan could very well easily pull a trigger on her.
I think it's going to be
we
Kanan
see how ruthless he becomes. I mean, listen, you can't say that. No, he wouldn't do that when he
after he pulled that trigger. It's no turning back for him.
Right after he killed his own sister, Jukebox was his sister. That they were raised like a brother and sister. They were family. He killed his own son.
I think Buck 20. I think Buck 20 is one thing, but him killing Davina is no turning back. He's willing to kill anybody at that point.
That's what's going to really activate him. That's
what I think is going to flip him to the other side.
Yep.
Like you do that. It's the perfect setup. Who else will get Davina in a spot where she's trusted and able to put her in the position where her guards is down? She might not even think nothing of it. Where Kanan got the drop on me because I did this and I did that or whatever. But it all makes sense because when Kanan ran out of the house or whatever, Scrappy ain't gonna tell where the spot at. I don't think. He could have been gated up.
And listen, we ain't had no issues at the Stash House before until now.
Right.
So, this you've got something to do with this, Kanan.
Yeah, he could have been gated up. Who else would know where the stash
and remember,
is at?
Scrappy saw Kanan talking to the girl.
He went to the door.
Exactly.
And because he made that comment to him, because we had that scene where we saw him make that comment to him that, yo, why you got this chick coming over here to the Stash House? This ain't supposed to be, public knowledge for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that that's the prelude to what's going to happen. That girl going to end up getting fucked up behind that.
I think
it might not happen next episode, but keep in mind, next week's episode is episode 5. Episode 5 is a turn up for mid-season. So, a lot of shit is going to go down.
Yeah, you got that cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and I know Scrappy ain't making it to episode 10 either, so I think he'd make it to like episode 7 or episode 8. But he's not gonna make it that far either. So his demise, I really haven't pinpointed it yet.
Possibly a casualty at war. He's gonna be a casualty at war.
It could be, especially because Eunique Man's got capped, behind the old caper when they was pulling off at the Stash House. He was like, "Oh, Unique's boy." They shot the nigga right in the head. Like, you just lost another soldier or whatever. Do the streets need another body? Eunique, how y'all gonna react to?
I think it's gonna be a full scale war now. I think at this point, all gloves, all bets, all dealings, all agreements that they had in place are off the table now. I think everybody is out for blood at this point. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the season wraps up. I'm so glad we are renewed for season 2. So it's gonna be interesting to see how everything unfolds. So any other predictions? Any other predictions that we have for next week?
Eunique is not in season 2.
Eunique is not in season 2?
Eunique is not in season 2.
Okay, so going back to Joey Badass may be booked for other projects, so he
Could
may be
be.
booked. He could be booked for another project, but kind of goes back to what me and CP was talking about earlier: is who's going to make it out? Who's going to make it out? There's only one. There's only going to be one that's going to come out on top. So, are we saying that we think that Raquel's going to make it out and Eunique isn't?
Thomas, anybody who has a connection to Thomas is pretty much going to make it out.
Well, we'll see.
Rock, Kanan, Eunique. I mean, not Eunique. I'm sorry, Lulu, Marvin, and of course, Laverne gonna make it out.
I don't even think that Marvin's gonna make it out.
Marvin's gonna make it out.
Marvin's gonna make it out.
Marvin is in 10 episodes. He's gonna make it out.
Okay, so he's gonna make it out.
Unless his 10th one is demise, it could be.
Well, you gotta be careful with IMDb sometimes, because IMDb be throwing you off sometimes. Sometimes they'll have a person listed in the episode, then they're not. They're just like a flashback. Sources. They're like a flashback in the episode, or they're mentioned in the episode a lot of times, because they did that with season 6 with Power. When we saw Angie was in multiple episodes, we automatically assumed that she was alive. But she wasn't, she was just a ghost, that she was appearing to ghosts and talking to him. I'm not saying they're going to do that for this particular show, but sometimes you got to be careful with their casting listing, because a lot of times they'll have people listed down that's not actually live in the episode. They may
I wouldn't even be mad at that, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see. It's all, you can put anything on the internet nowadays. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, CP, you got any predictions for next week?
No, not really. I mean, not really. Because I don't know. We just had to see the progression. Like I said, I do feel like this episode, it was a necessary episode, because we got a lot of foundation for what I think is going to happen next. You know what I mean? We see a lot of foundation for those next steps that we know have to happen. But I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we'll see. All right, so
I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm excited. It's going. I think it's going to be a goodie.
Renewed faith in stars for Saturday nights. I've gotten back on that. I can't wait till what's my show coming out on Saturday night. I hadn't felt that way since P Valley went off, so I'm real glad to see that they're doing a great job with this show. I mean, I know the last couple episodes, I've seen a lot of people kind of give it like a B to a C, but I mean, I think we're A+ all the way around here. The story,
B to a C?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't see where y'all getting that from.
They bugging.
This A+ writing all the way around, because it's not predictive writing, and I love a show that I can't predict what's getting ready to happen from episode to episode. Mm-hmm. The character development,
I love the character development.
I love the character development too, because I don't feel like they're stretching it out. I feel like we're meeting face value who these characters are,
especially with Jukebox.
Yes. Now I feel like there's more development that's needed with Jukebox, because I still haven't seen what turned her into season 3 Power. Jukebox.
I'd rather see Jukebox than Tate. I'd rather see that. That's for sure.
I wish they would have gave her a spinoff. I would have liked to see her life and times and how she ended up becoming a cop, and maybe we'll see that in book 3. But I still don't think I've seen enough of Jukebox to understand how she became who she became in Power.
Let me ask y'all this: when do y'all think Tommy and Ghost will show up in season 2?
If possible, they're going to be,
because they're both younger than, they both anywhere between, let's say.
Well, we got to see where the timeline. We got to see where the timeline takes us. Right now, we're in 91. We know we don't meet Tommy and Ghost till 96.
Because I was about to be ready to say, because even Ghost said that, we was a lot younger, and you brought us up, because they younger. So when do you think that we'll possibly? So you just say in season 2?
Well, if there's a time jump in season 2, then maybe. But if they're just going to go like 91, 92, 93, then it would be season 3 before we would see them. But if they're going to do like if at the end of season 1, and then when we come back for season 2, and we're like, oh, this is 1995, then okay, now we know that we about to head in that direction. But if they're just going to,
Because there's a lot of other things that has to happen because
Right.
Kanan's going to have to age some too.
Right.
Right now he's 15, so he's going to have to become like 20 something. He's going to have to be running shit.
So which means like Tommy and Ghost is what, like 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, they're kids. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be that young because remember at the end of Power it was 96 and they were in high school. So they were teenagers. So I think we got to get to the point where Kanan grows out of being 15 into adulthood and he's running shit. And then, Tommy and Ghost are going to become his workers, So we got to get to that point where Kanan and Jukebox age a little bit.
Right.
Because there is like, people that listen to us that asked me this question, and it was like, well, when do you think that Tommy and Ghost will show up? And I just be like, Tommy and Ghost, they was younger than Kanan, so we just gotta, we'll figure it out, but Tommy and Ghost is definitely younger than Kanan.
Right, and because we know that there's a season 2, there really is no rush.
There's no rush. They can stretch this out a little bit longer,
right.
Yeah.
Because remember, this is Kanan's story. This isn't about Ghost and Tommy. This is his story.
And we still got to get to Breeze too. Breeze a pivotal character too, so I think we'll see Breeze way before we see Tommy and Ghost. So we got to get that character development on Breeze too. So I think that season 2 we're going to be introduced to Breeze, and then we'll start to slowly but surely get introduced to Ghost and Tommy, because I agree. Once you bring Ghost and Tommy into the series, they kind of take over that show from it being Kanan's story to their prelude.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what they should have done, and maybe they will do this, I think they should really give Ghost and Tommy a prelude show. That it's all about them, because there's a whole cast of characters that come with them. So we got to meet young Tasha, we got to meet young Angela, we got to meet we got to meet Paz. We got to meet characters that we've already seen that were an important part of that story as they were kids. So if it comes in Raising Kanan, it's going to possibly be a season 3.
I have another question from one of our listeners. Do you think that this is just I got to set something up so I can actually do it verbatim, but do you think that by Jukebox and Lulu having a conversation being under your thumb is the reason that she became a cop, because she could always keep people under her thumb?
I think there's going to be some development with that leads her to make that decision to become a cop. I think what we saw today was, being one step ahead and being able to wiggle her way out of situations. I think that gave her an advantage to she took a different approach than the rest of the family did. Instead of having a dirty cop on the team, she became that dirty cop. So I think there's going to be a lot more story to be told with Jukebox, because again, like I said, we haven't seen enough with her to see how she becomes what we meet her in Power. So that's going to be very interesting to see. And I think it's going to have a lot to do with Kanan as well. I think it's going to have a lot to do with Kanan getting locked up and going in. I think at the end of season 2, it just depends, kind of going back to what CP said, it just depends on how they fast forward the years. So if we get to 94, 95 and, they're older and they're in their adulthoods and they're kind of doing their own thing, I think that's when we're going to start to see Jukebox character unravel a little bit more.
What do you say, CP?
I don't think we have. I just don't think I have enough to figure it out. Like, it could be a situation where Jukebox wanted to do the opposite of, like, she wanted to go with the opposite of the family business. It could be maybe the family needed her to be like that was her role. They needed her to play,
right?
Because she ends up in DC, so for whatever reason she leaves New York.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't think I have enough information to figure out how she got there.
Not yet.
All right, I'm sorry. This is the stuff that I kind of like scribbled down when people was asking me or whatever. Do you think, or what do you think about possibly Dean and Eunique possibly having the beef because Rock may see, or Dean may see that Rock is winning the war?
Well, I
Is
don't
it
think
a
it's.
possibility?
I don't. Only because of the soundbite that we got in the last episode where he said that I supply both of you. I don't really care about y'all petty feud or whatever y'all got going on. This is just business for me. So I
Right.
think whoever is on top is whoever he's going to serve. I don't think he's rooting for either one of them. I don't think he cares about either one of them. As long as my product is out on the streets and I'm making money, that's pretty much all I care about. You know,
Yeah, I don't think he has an opinion. I don't think. Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't think he got a dog in that fight.
Now, when I was
I,
asked this, I swear I saw this. I said the same thing, but the phone call between Unique and it had me thinking something different. It was just kind of like, all right, so if you got the cops hot on you, and they can go to this other side, and the cops is not hot on Rock, then this is who wins, though, right?
well, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I think that Dean may have probably been supplying Unique a little bit longer than Rock. And so there may have been more of a working relationship with Unique's organization than it has been with Raquel. But I still don't think that he cares either way. I mean, I think at this point that because he said the same thing to her when her corners got rolled up last week. He was like, "Well, Unique's corners didn't get rolled up. How come yours did?"
Right.
So it's almost like he probably expected her to retaliate against him because her shit got blowed up and his did. So it's just all about the fact that they are in a war against each other and they're both getting their drugs from the same supplier. Is whoever takes out who becomes
and you also got to take into consideration the fact that what happened with Unique almost got his people hemmed up.
Right.
Whereas what happened with Raquel, it may not be good for business, but it didn't affect his people.
It didn't affect his organization, right?
And
but
my personal
if the
question,
cops, if the cops had, which they should have, but if the cops that came out as soon as the exchange was made, his people get hemmed up.
Correct.
And my personal question is, I asked you this the last time me and you, Retro, we closed. Who at this episode is your personal favorite character?
Oh,
this episode.
As far as we 4 episodes in. So as far as the last 4 episodes, right here, right now, who is your favorite character, and who are y'all looking more forward to see their character development?
Mine's gonna be Jukebox.
Mine's still Jukebox.
It's gonna be Jukebox.
But why Retro? But why Retro?
Because, well, you have to look at, with the exception of all the other characters, we've kind of met and understand what these characters are that we're seeing, as far as Marvin, Lulu, Raquel, and even Kanan for that matter. We know exactly what to expect out of these characters, why they are the way they are, what they become in later series. Whereas with Jukebox, there seems to be still a little bit of an innocence about her. She seems to be very standoffish from the family business.
Exactly.
She ain't out here trying to hustle. She ain't out here trying to sell drugs. She said, I don't want shit to do with whatever Marvin got going on.
Exactly.
So what I want to see is what changes her. We kind of already know what's changing Kanan, and the fact that he's motivated by wanting to help and support his mother and protect his mother is another Tariq and Tasha story being told. So we kind of understand why Kanan made the moves he makes, even though they were stupid decisions. We understand that. Right now, we're motivated so much with Jukebox because she wants to get this record deal. She wants to get this demo tape. What changed all that is what I want to see for her. She's the one that has the most that's changed. How do you go from having a aspiring career in the music industry to becoming a cop?
To being a cold-hearted killer cop.
A cold-hearted killer cop. So it's Jukebox for me.
What'd you say, CP?
I mean, it's probably between Jukebox and Raquel. Raquel made me mad because I don't really like the way she handled the situation with Symphony and Kanan. I mean Kanan, but overall, I just love how she moves, and I definitely love how she handled the dude down at the bodega. Like I love that move, but I agree. Like Jukebox is probably the biggest question mark. Like it's
Yes.
just so many question marks with her.
Yeah, because even with the girl, we see that she's accepting her sexuality, but she hasn't come full blown into her sexuality. So you know that this girl's her first love. You know that music was her first love. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things go south for her. Obviously she's going to lose this little girl, so that's going to have an effect on her. Obviously she's going to part ways with the family business. Something's going to cause that effect on her. Whether it's her dad, and I would like to see more of her relationship with Marvin unfold as well, and at the very least, them speak to her mother situation. So it's a lot to learn about Jukebox still that I don't feel like we need to learn about the other characters. Like
Because
I
Jukebox don't
feel
even
like
have the
I've
same
seen
name.
everything I need to see about Marvin. I've seen everything I need to see about Kanan at this point, but Jukebox is a very unsolved mystery. Like we don't know what turned her into Jukebox.
Yeah, because Jukebox don't even have the same last name. So her last name ain't even Thomas. So I want to see how that really unfolds. And like to me, she's still my favorite, most interested. She's my most interested character. I still like Lulu is just smooth as hell. I just think like Lulu would just be like,
but they're not doing enough with his character.
yeah, I think Lulu
I would like to see them. I would like to see them do more with his character. I would like to see him eventually open his own studio up, even if it doesn't go anywhere with that. I would want to see him working towards that vision. This is like All of Power. We saw Ghost work towards his end game, even though he didn't make it out. We saw that he was inspired to want to get out of life. We saw that he wanted to be a club owner, and he had some moderate success towards that. It was the other people that he had in his life that didn't support that led to his downfall. And then a lot of his own decision making too that led to his downfall. So it's just going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the family's decisions affect her.
Lulu is like, I'm gonna drink my coffee, I'm gonna read my newspaper, but quiet as kept, I'll kill every motherfucker in here.
Yep.
That's what I get from Lulu. But what Jukebox is so interested is because, like I said, we don't know her, like her story and the way that she ended up being is so different from what we see, and not like we can see the development of Kanan a lot, how he gets to the point where he's at. But with Jukebox, by her being the singer, I guess I'm assuming that's where the Jukebox name came from.
And a sense of innocence.
Whatever. But she don't have a sense of innocence. Like the way she talk, like if you piss her off, she's gonna pop off. She's gonna pop off. Even now, she just don't go to the point and to the extreme
of murder.
Yeah, of murder. But she's like, yeah, press the fuck on. Like if you don't, what I'm saying? If you ain't gonna do it this way, if you ain't gonna do it that way, get the fuck on. You see how she stopped it? The way to do was kicking the security guard ass, or whatever. And I also think that may have something to do with her being a cop too, because it was a power surge, kind of.
Yeah.
Like it was
the
battery in her back.
I don't want no harm to come to the innocent. So
yeah.
So he don't deserve this. Like he ain't part of life. He out here, doing an honest job. We're not gonna fuck him up behind.
And she can control the situation if she's put in that position of power. The way he controlled the situation because he was put in that position of power. He let her go because he was put in a position of power to let her go.
But you also have to see that Jukebox also feels like she's the black sheep of the family. So I think that's another reason why she kind of goes out and branches out on her own is like, I want to do my own thing. I'm not part of the family business. So I'm going to go ahead and create my own life. And I think a lot of that's going to come to fruition when Marvin finds out about her sexuality and he probably disowns her. He probably kicks her out of the family. He probably, she probably had to go off and do her own thing because now, Marvin has made this decision that, to disown her, you're not my child anymore, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of that will answer a lot of our questions when we see their relationship further.
Marvin can kick her out. If Marvin kick her out, Rock kicks him out. Marvin not going to kick her out.
But we know that's what's going to happen because in Power, when she went to go pick Kanan up when he got fucked up. The cousin even said, I've never known for Jukebox to let anybody stay here. And then Kanan said that, Jukebox, I was there for her when her old man found out about her sexuality and kicked her out. He took her
I forgot
in.
about that.
That's why I say you got to go back to Power season 2 and season 3. There's a lot of Easter eggs. I feel like the current writing team is going back to or referencing back to, and I think it's going to be a lot of those questions are going to be answered in this story that's being told because there was things that were said, comments that weren't meaningful to us at that time because it was Ghost's story,
right?
So now we're going to understand why Jukebox became such a cold-hearted, I don't love nobody because I don't feel like nobody loved me type deal. And losing that girl is going to affect her because that's her first love. That girl is important to her. So I think whatever happens with her is going to really turn the faucet on for Jukebox. This is like what you're saying with Kanan. If Kanan ends up killing Davina, is no looking back.
Yeah.
So I think whatever happens to this little girl with Jukebox is what's going to be the catalyst for her.
I can see that.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this week. We got a lot of different opinions and thoughts about this show. We're loving it. I can't wait to the end of the season so we can do our character analysis show and really break down what we thought about the characters that we saw in season 1. As always, you can find us on our social media. Shout out to our boy Juggernaut of Souls who wasn't able to be with us tonight, but he's here in spirit. So you can follow him on Instagram at Juggernaut_of_Souls. And then, of course, you can find him on YouTube at Juggernaut of Souls. You can find me, RETROCG, on Instagram. CP, how can they find you?
They can definitely find me on YouTube at ReallyBTV. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ReallyBTV_ on YouTube.
Hey, and DJ, how we find you?
You can find me in the building even when I'm outside. You heard me? You can find me in the building even when I'm outside. You heard me?
We can find you at TSF Entertainment on Instagram. So DJ been kind of keeping an eye on our Instagram page.
I have been.
Find us at TSF Entertainment. And shout out, send y'all questions and voicemails and things like that. You can email us info@tsfentertainment.com.
Please do so we can bring these questions and topics up on the episode. Please do. I got people at my regular job just asking me questions, listening to our podcast, and I try to jot down as fast as I possibly can while continuing on my regular 9 to 5. Please do. So we can bring those up and we could give y'all our opinions, give y'all what we see out there as far as the production team opinions and the production team aspects and anything that we possibly see that's going on with the Power Universe. Please.
And if you want to be on the show, please hit us up. We welcome people to come on the show with us because these are what we are seeing. So we would love to see what you guys are seeing and hear what you guys are experiencing with the show and what you're enjoying about the show. So again, you can email us at info@tsfentertainment.com. Drop us a DM on Instagram. Shoot us a voicemail through the Anchor app. We're out here. So
if you see me at Foot Locker, let me know what your question is. I'm gonna bring that question up on the show. Please. And I strongly advise you. Appreciate y'all.
All right, fam. We'll see y'all next week, y'all.
All right. Holla.
Peace.
You are now listening to TSF Entertainment Podcast.